MARAINEY'S Black Bottom. In 1927 in Barnesville, Georgia, famous singer Ma Rainey, Viola Davis, also known as the Mother of Blues, performs for an adoring crowd. She and her band continue touring, selling out everywhere. Eventually, they arrive in Chicago, where Ma's manager, Jeremy Shamos, has booked their usual recording studio for Ma to record some new album. Mel, Jonny Coyne, the owner of the studio, is worried since he sees Ma as a diva with constant demands. Band members Cutler, Colman Domingo, Toledo, Glynn Turman, and slow drag, Michael Potts, and trumpet player Chadwick Boseman, make their way to the studio, but Mel is annoyed Ma isn't there yet. Levy thinks he's a great songwriter and is young and confident, spending his time writing his own music while the rest of the band demand he rehearse. He tells them he's working on music for Mel. Cutler, the de facto leader, demands Levy play the songs as he knows them, but Levy insists that wants to use his version of the song, which confirms. The band plays Irvin's version of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. The group teases the older Toledo, who talks to them about being a black man in America and what they need to do to improve their standing. Levy thinks that life is just about having a good time. Slow Drag tells them how he once knew a man who sold his soul to the devil. Levy doesn't believe in bad luck or anything like that, which annoys Cutler, who thinks he's a young fool. Ma Rainey is on the way to the recording studio with her girlfriend Taylour Paige, driven by Ma's nephew Sylvester, Dusan Brown. Sylvester accidentally rear-ends another car. Ma gets in an altercation with the other driver and the police get involved, claiming Ma assaulted the other driver. Ma insists he fell and that she didn't touch him. Irvin intervenes, bribing the police officer, freeing Ma to come and begin the recording session. Mel is fed up with Ma's antics, but Irvin insists he has it under control. At the studio, Ma flirts with Dussie and tells her and Sylvester they'll get them fresh new clothes. Ma tells Sylvester she's gotten him a job playing with the band and he can send the money back home to his mother. Ma hears the band rehearsing Levy's version of Black Bottom and says she refuses to let Levy ruin her song. Irvin says people want to be able to dance and the new way will work better, but Ma says it's her song, not Levy's. She yells at Irvin and says Sylvester will be doing the intro. Ma goes to the band, introduces Sylvester, and tells the band in no uncertain terms that Black Bottom will be done the old way, making Cutler laugh since he told Levy that what Ma says is the only thing that matters. Levy wants to quit over this, but the band just laughs as Cutler teaches Sylvester how to do the opening, a spoken word section. They are shocked when it turns out Sylvester has an extremely pronounced stutter, cracking Levy up. He's curious to see how Cutler is going to fix that. The band practices, with Levy sitting out saying he's going to get his own band to play the song right until Mel comes in to ask Levy if he's finished the song he was working on for him, and Mel says sometime later he'll get to Levy's originals. The band mocks Levy for instantly being subservient to Mel. Levy gets angry, saying he isn't scared of white men. He says when he was 8 years old a gang of white men came into his house and raped his mother. He grabbed a knife and tried to fight back, but one of them got the knife and slashed him across the chest. Levy shows them his massive scar and says when his father returned, sold his farm to one of the rapists, moved the family out of town, then returned to kill the men who did it. He killed 4 of them before they killed him. Levy says he learned from his father how to deal with white men. He knows how to smile and say yes sir, but then do what he needs to do. The band is shocked by this horrific story. Toledo sits and plays the piano and talks about people as being like a giant stew and black people being the leftovers. When it comes time to record the song, Irvin tells Ma the band says Sylvester can't do the opening. She insists he can and refuses to be dissuaded. Ma chastises Levy knowing he had something to do with this. Mel says Sylvester can get one shot since it costs money, but Ma says with the money she makes the studio they'll go as many times as she wants. Sylvester stutters quite a bit and Ma tells him to take his time. Ma asks for a cold Coca-Cola and when Irvin says he forgot it, Ma refuses to sing, incensing Mel. She sends Sylvester and Slow Drag out to get drinks and they take a break. Ma pulls Cutler aside and says she doesn't want to hear anything about what the band says and that Sylvester will do the opening. She tells him when they get back down to Memphis she wants him to replace Levy. Ma talks to Cutler about how white people only care about them when they can make them money, but they won't even pay for a bottle of Coca-Cola. Levy, meanwhile, is flirting with Dussie, telling her he wants to take her out when they return to Memphis and when he has his own band. They begin passionately kissing and Levy blocks the door so they can have sex. Slow Drag interrupts them when Ma is ready to start. Sylvester continues to stutter repeatedly, take after take after take. Ma refuses to record the song until the intro is recorded. Eventually, Sylvester gets it right, to his shock. The band records Black Bottom and everyone celebrates until Mel realizes a mic had a faulty chord and nothing was recorded. Ma leaves in a huff, angry at the unprofessionalism. Irvin pleads for her to come back, that the records will be hits and they only need 15 minutes. The band takes another break while the issue is fixed. The band chastises Levy for fooling around with Dussie, saying he'll be out of a job soon, but Levy insists he's only talked with her and insists he's done nothing wrong. He tells the others that they are settled for being thrown a bone by white men and he's going to make his band and be able to tell white men what to do just like Ma. They explain to him Ma isn't even famous to white people and Cutler tells a story about a black priest being terrorized by white men and Levy asks where God was then. He says God hates black people and God can kiss his ass and Cutler punches him. They begin fighting and Levy pulls a knife, calling on Cutler's God to save him like he did his mother. Says he heard his mother calling out to him when she was attacked and God did nothing. Later, everyone gets back to recording. Everyone celebrates the success, but Ma asks Levy why he was improvising and playing so many notes, and Levy says he's playing the music the best way. Levy snaps back at Ma, and Ma immediately fires him. Levy says it'll be the best thing that ever happened to him and that he doesn't need this shit anymore. He goes and breaks open the back door, only to find it leads to a dead end. Irvin meets with Ma and tells her Mel said he will only pay Sylvester out of her pay. Ma says he's supposed to have his own money and tells Irvin to fix it. Mel comes back and says it simply was a mistake, and Ma says he only seemed to find it a mistake when he saw she hadn't signed the release forms for the recordings. She leaves, and Irvin chases after her and pleads with her to sign the forms. She does, but tells Irvin to tell Mel any more mistakes and she'll make her records somewhere else. The band packs up and Mel arrives and pays them. Levy asks him about the songs he wrote and Mel says they're not what he's looking for. Mel says he had his guys play the songs and they weren't right, that they won't sell like Ma's records. He offers to buy the songs off him, devastating Levy, who wants to record the songs like he and Mel talked about. Toledo steps on Levy's shoe and Levy becomes irate even after Toledo has apologized. Levy takes his knife and stabs Toledo in the back, killing him. The band looks on in horror as Levy rocks Toledo's body and tells him not to look at him like that. Later, Mel has a white singer record Levy's songs at the studio. The credits show photos of the real Ma and her band. In 1927, mother of blues Ma Rainey, Viola Davis, travels with her band from the South to a recording studio in Chicago. The trumpet player Levy, Chadwick Boseman, writes his own music and wants to start his own band and make it big. He has gotten Mel, the head of the recording studio, to agree to record some of his tracks. He has made changes to some of Ma's songs, which she shoots down in no uncertain terms. Levy is also sleeping with Ma's girlfriend, Dussie. He eventually talks back to Ma after the recording, and she fires him. He says he's better off anyway, but then Mel tells him he'll buy the songs from him, but he won't let him record them himself. With his options disappearing, Levy becomes devastated, and after fellow band member Toledo, Glynn Turman, steps on his foot, Levy becomes irate and stabs him, killing him. Later, Mel has white musicians record Levy's songs.